Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Workday Wednesday, I guess these are. Where today I'm gonna shade for as long as I'm able, and we'll see what I get done. My right hand's not doing so hot, so we're working within those means today. I feel like I should draw Scott's new hand. This one looks so funny. Also, let's see. So the last live stream, we celebrated the milestone of getting to 1 year on YouTube. And now we're at a new milestone already. I had a video that did very well. So I'm almost at 400 subscribers in like a week on YouTube, and I'm just over the moon about it. That's so cool. So thank you for anyone who's been a part of that. It's neat to see it finally kind of get some legs. Hold on, am I a hag? Because if it sprouted legs, I don't know, that sounds like some hag shit to me. Uh-oh. Don't trust Gus if she offers you cookies. I've been playing too much D&D. Alright, I gotta clean my glasses so I can see what I'm drawing. And then let's see, I've got a few things that I can see off the bat I need to kind of touch up and shade. I grabbed a few references just of like textures and materials, and that's always great. Let me show you real quick so I can check out the ripped jeans, the different ways that kind of light is reflecting off the metal. I wasn't really happy with how I had it shaded, so I found some references that kind of better depict some of the shapes that I'm trying to get, and I'm gonna give it another go. And then as well as just like to look at textures on stuff. So we'll see. And I felt like I was struggling with these guys, so just go grab stuff. If there's somewhere where you're struggling, go grab refs. They don't have to be perfect. I feel like just looking at these for a few minutes gives me a better grasp on what I just do. I broke it. I broke it. Come back. Do I just drop it? What the fuck? There. No? Clip Studio Paint, everybody. The windows, they're so versatile. That was funny. Alright. I like the gritty texture I kind of have going for the jeans. I don't need it to be perfect, but I feel like maybe adding some gritty, not like strong highlights. Yeah, kind of like this. Yeah, more of this, more of this. Alright. So I want to make that look a bit more like leather compared especially to like these gloves, which are fabric. It's like this is a rounded surface, and I don't feel like I have it shaded like a rounded surface. Hey Keon, how's it going? Welcome in. Let me go ahead and pull up a ref real quick because I feel like I'm missing I want something domed. This is where I need that anime boob cup armor, please. Maybe pauldrons would be rounded. Trying to think what would give me a similar shape I'm after for reflections. Let's try pauldrons. Do, 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 do. Ooh. All right. Yeah, I'll come back to that later. I'm not finding anything that's a good rounded shape. That's fine. I can find one afterwards. I don't want to spend time while I'm streaming looking for it. It is worth it, especially if you're charging money for commissions, to go and look for the references so that materials look like materials. It's the extra little bit that'll help your stuff, like, feel good. What is this? Did my whole line art get shifted? What? I hate it when that happens. There's some control hotkey. Is it? Or maybe it's just that. I accidentally drag my layers around sometimes, but... Oh, dang it. I was hoping this wouldn't happen. I've been having really bad heart palpitations today, which is really lame. If they keep happening, it means I have to go lay down. And it means I'll have to stop the stream, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. It's been really kneecapping my work. Between that and my wrist, I'm like not having a good time. I'm like, excuse me, I would like to get some work done, please. But I have to lay down constantly. I'm chasing up my doctor about it though, so we'll see. It's just not been, not what I was expecting. All right. Because at this point it's disruptive. All right, we've got this back layer filled in a bit more. Does this help? Maybe I just didn't fill out the outlines all the way. No, because this one is. So why not the other one? Alright, well if that one's the problem, then the one behind it should be fine. Make sure the edges are filled in. Because the shading's on top on a different layer. Cool. So like, I'm seeing like spots like right here, where I think what I want to do now is I'll probably have something where I have a bit stronger of a shadow going. We'll see. Alright, I think putting my feet up helped. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Is it having... We'll see. I'm gonna try to play with it just from like thinking. And then... Worst case worst, like, if I really keep struggling with this, what I'll end up doing is just doing like a little study and doing like a few practice shapes to understand how the reflections look before I'm trying to mimic it. Bleh. We'll see. how this goes today. This is not my favor so far. It's fine. No, I gotta lay down for a second. If it's for longer than a minute, I just gotta end the stream. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do right now. Give me just a moment, and if I'm not back in a few. Okay. Let's cross our fingers and hope that we can keep this going. If I have to lay down again, we're just gonna end the stream, because it starts stressing me out. It makes me feel like I need to be in it or out. You know what I mean? I'm not a cat. You can't do the in, the out, the in, the out. So while we're in, let's draw. Malik says, it's kind of wild how folks commission me to draw a lot of the same animal character shapes. What do you mean? As in, like, when I get a kobold, I get more kobolds, and then I get a hyena and I get more hyenas? See, oh, I don't even remember where I was. Well, let's find a new place to start. I'm seeing, I don't think the toenails are shaded. Haven't done the eyes. Why are the toenails down there? That's probably why they didn't get shaded. They're on a different layer. That's funny. Where are the rest of them? Oh, I wonder if those are shaded on the... Oh, they're on a different layer in a different folder. Okay, so I guess these ones will stay here. And that's where they will be. Makes sense. It's been a minute, so I just kind of have to retrace my steps and think about where I was and where I put stuff and why I did it that way. Obviously, there was a reason when I looked... How is everybody doing today? It's been getting warmer out. It feels like spring has fully sprung, or whatever it does. At least, I mean, that's what my allergies are saying. Malik says, yeah, you're wondering if it's that I drew these things and people wanted to see more of that, or if people came to me to draw that and I got better at it. Honestly, I think it's just that people don't know that I have a range. That I mean, I got references. I can go look at anything. You want capybara? I'll draw you a capybara. Want an Absol? I'll check out an Absol. I can do the math to put any of it together. But like, that tends to happen, yeah. If someone's like, "Oh, I didn't know you drew kobolds," and I'm like, "No one ever asked." It's more like that. And then once one person knows, it's like, okay. I think it's the same way I kind of fell into a couple of different categories as a commission artist for a little bit. Like, oh, I drew something for one person and they liked the way I did that. So then someone else came to me for work in a similar vein, which then got more people interested. And so there's been a few things that haven't particularly been like my thing, but because I'm able to do them well, I've done stints in various categories. So it kind of feels very much like that. Like, I'm not just a pony artist. I'm not just a kobold artist. I mean, look at this zebra. Or not zebra. Seriously, Scots? Fucking seriously? It's a giraffe? If I can find her. Sorry, I was like, that's a hell of a mix-up. But like, I feel like if I go look up references, this is the first time I drew a giraffe character. But till somebody asked me if I could draw a giraffe character, I was like, I don't know, yeah. But no, it's in my it's in the catalogs. It exists now. I think it's really fun. It's like, who's the brave one to start setting the trend? Oh my god, who do I blame for kobolds? Like, someone is seriously at fault for that, because I had one kobold and then there was all of the kobolds. I'm not complaining either. I'm just saying, somebody definitely broke the dam. Oh, pretty. Yes, yes. I think that one's another testament to how much I like working on details. Okay, we'll focus on drawing for a little bit. I don't mind being a little bit more wandery and meandering and talking about stuff this time around, mostly because I mean, my wrist is pretty rough right now, so I'm trying to make sure that I am gentle with it. So I don't mind pulling up stuff and going off topic a little bit today. It keeps things gentler on my wrist. All right. I don't even know if there's sometimes I don't even know what I like drawing until I draw it. That's what I love about commissions, is it brings a bit of variety. Like, there's aesthetics that I would probably draw repeatedly. I feel like I try to be very careful when I'm doing character sheets to make sure that I avoid falling into sort of the same repeated tropes or patterns with stuff, or like the same aesthetics. So if I notice I feel like I've been doing something too much, unless it's like where Zay is getting specifically offspring of one kobold drawn, where then it makes sense for them to have some similar features, or for me to pull something from his design to make it look like, yes, this is his child. So all right, let's do this. I'm gonna wait. Would like a new layer, but I want it to go here. I don't want it to be one of those. I would like my brain's making computer noises right now. Basically want to redraw this whole part, honestly. So I'm just gonna basically blot it out. We'll do that way. We'll start out with it not there. Cool. Step 1 done. Step 2, we have 1, 2, and 3 fingers. How do I want to do this? No, not again. Didn't I do it on the top layer and it looked fine? That's not it. Where? This. Oh. That's why it looks weird. Because there's 4 things here, and I'm trying to do it with 3 fingers. I'm not going to change how many studs are on it. But all right. I'm gonna try this though. We'll shade it first, and then I'll do the sketch over top because it works. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, actually, I feel like I think better in volumes than in shapes sometimes. Like, the lighting really highlights my mistakes to me. You would say blame Rampage? I think so too. I think so too. Alright. This sucks. Let's see. And then for this one I used the line brush for line art. I think it was at 6 point. Maybe 5 point. I've started trying to take notes on the side if I've had to do something different for the line art thickness. Because whenever I come back to something, I always feel like it's more difficult. I'm like, what the f was I doing? Oh, and I do need to, oh, okay. All right, I'll fix that. Even if I don't want to do all of this, it does still have the shading for the knuckles there. So if I go like this, I'm now just dealing with the shading for the knuckles again, but we're doing it here. On top, so I can do 1, 2, 3. See if this works better. Lock the layer, please. I tried. Okay. Yeah, it looks a bit wonky between the... nope, that's... It's the middle finger that looks like it's bigger. Yeah, a bit. So maybe I can just fix it by going to the line work and erasing this a bit. I said erase. There we go. I think that works better. Alright, so I'm also gonna see about dragging that. Does that look like it's bent underneath? No. Where's There's hers. I'm basically just going through layers right now, trying to find stuff. Doing some tidying up and... There we go. Like, this is just... spilling out over the top up here. Wait, what? Yeah, that's what I thought. Those are that. Alright. Let's go back to shading those. I just see a part that's bugging me sometimes and I'm like, ah. So, alright. There we go. We'll lock this one and I'm gonna go in and just give these sort of a mid-tone. I don't know why. I find it a lot easier to work from darker tones to lighter tones, and that's not something I usually get to do traditionally. You usually start on like a white paper and you build up tones with like pencils or marker or ink, like whatever you're working with. So it's really interesting to me that my digital style is completely inverted. I'm just like, okay. It's funny. It never feels like it looks the same when I shade from light to dark. Like every time I'm like, ugh, not happy with how this looks. I need to start over. Like, I don't know if I'm too afraid to push the shadows dark enough or if it's like just the way it carves out the shapes better. I don't know, but it really, really works for me. And it's so interesting to me that it's different from my my regular process, because it essentially means I had to learn how to draw and render digitally completely different than I do traditionally. And that was one of the hardest things, honestly. It took me a while. I thought I just traditional art was what I grew up doing, and when I tried to tackle doing digital art for the first couple of years, I just felt like it was awful and I was bad at it. Like, it made me think I was a bad artist. And then I started to realize, like, no, you really do just have to think about how your layers overlap. And it was really hard for me because I had to go back and fix a lot of stuff because I didn't know how to stack it. And I thought it was dumb that I would try to draw and it was accidentally underneath a different layer. And now I just sort of think of it like clothing, honestly. You've got how you can see your skin, like your hands and your neck, out from underneath your clothes. You can see your t-shirt out from your jacket. Your pants are under your shirt. And your jacket is over your pants and your shirt. Like, that's exactly how I layer stuff, more or less. So it just took me to, like, it seemed like that was too simple to think of it like that. So I don't know. If someone doesn't hate it, you haven't made it yours feels vaguely relevant to what I'm talking about. That's a really interesting idea, though. It's one of the reasons I'm really afraid of pushing my style further, especially because I've been stuck in the commission run. So I feel like people commission me for the stuff that they see me make, so I don't feel like I can stray too far without, like, not delivering adequately. And I don't want to do that. I would like people very much to get what they are at least somewhat expecting, you know. But there's some times where I really wish I could just play with my style to the point that I'm like, yeah, there would be some people who probably wouldn't like it because it would be funky or it would be different, but I want to really push the way I play with shapes and the way I kind of maybe make stuff more angular or more, like, you know what I'm saying. I like to I like to have fun. I like to go with the flow, and like I want to try a more cartoony shape, but I think that's why I stick to a slightly more realistic style sometimes, is that worry of the further you go and the funkier you get, the less likely it is to be for everybody. And I'm like, that's where the real fun art is, though. So I think there's room for me to have this style that I've kind of developed, because I don't hate this by any means, but this is sort of developed over the years just through doing commissions, and kind of I've felt like it's kind of locked me on that path a little bit. But I've done a lot of other commission types that have allowed me to play around and experiment with my style at the same time. So it just might be that would be fun to do with my left hand. Instead of getting too crazy with it and starting to have drawings look... Dude, my left-handed work is getting nuts. Like, I'm going to be able to start working with my left hand on my commissions if this keeps up. But like, it would be fun to just do like funky cartoon ones. Keep it scrunkly. You know? Keep it scrunkly. It's third-hand advice from an art teacher told to a student. Well, it wasn't my old art teacher, because she was the one who hated my art. Oh, she could have used to hear that quote. Well, I think it makes some really good fourth-hand advice there, because it's a fun way to think about it. Like, if you're not breaking a comfort zone, are you truly creating? No, I mean, there's different forms of it, but like, honestly, that's that's a good way to put it. You know, it's kind of funny. One of my favorite art pieces actually comes from my least favorite art assignment. But it was because I had gosh, it was in middle school. I really liked that art teacher. She really enjoyed what I made. Because I knew, like, I didn't like drawing people. I liked drawing animals. So when the assignment was to draw a comic page, and we had to draw, it had to have text, and it had to have a person in it. I'm like, it has to be a person, it can't be an animal. And she's like, it has to be a person. I'm like, ugh. So I dug, and I dug, and I dug, and I dug, and I found a panel in a Spider-Man comic. And it's this dude, and he's on his ass, and he's looking up, and there's a bear. And I cropped it so like 80% of the picture is the bear. The guy's framed down at the corner, and there's just a tiny little speech bubble that says Spidey. I'm like, I will follow the rules, but only as much as I have to pass this assignment. And my art teacher was like, yes. I'm like, that was good. She wasn't mad at me like, oh, you're barely doing it. She was just like, fucking creative, doing what you want to do within the boundaries of what like was assigned. The teacher I had in high school was all right, but she always like she wanted to be the cool art teacher who inspires the student to whatever, but she put me off of graphic design entirely. She put me off of graphic design entirely. Malicious compliance can be so artsy. Though it leads to TTP. What's that? Not familiar off the top of my head. Let's see. It's fun. I think it can really push the boundaries of what you can make stuff too. But I think there's also a time and a place. But like, then there's also, oh gosh, what is it? Alex Hirsch, when you hear about the writers trying to do stuff for Gravity Falls, and like, there's just a bunch of ridiculous stuff that they're like, no, you can't do this. And they're like, why? And they're like, because dumb reason. And so they're like, fine, we've replaced it, but now it says this. And they're like, this has been found to be acceptable. And it's arguably worse. They just went around in a different way. It's a lot like Time Till Crate. It's a video game nonsense. Oh. Wait, a video game? Wait, a video game based around malicious compliance? Or am I misunderstanding something? I just want to go and push the resolution of my drawing so high so when you zoom in on the eyeballs, there's no pixels. My computer might catch fire, but we'll see. How high of a resolution can I draw in? Do I just draw on a bigger canvas or a higher resolution? I have questions. We're gonna find out. Not right now, but we'll find out later. Not exactly. TTP is user end, TTC is developer end. Both of them are a measure until you see... What? Both of them are a measure until you see either a penis or a crate in a creativity game or in a making game. How long till some... Oh! Okay, like... Okay. That's funny. Alright, I want to do this. I feel like I want to get rid of the... Yeah, I'm gonna. Sit up here. I'm just gonna erase the outline. I don't know. I've kind of been into shading the eyes without it. I got bored of the way I was doing eyes, and I decided I would just try some shit out and see what I liked. It's the way it goes. This is the way. Now, I will say, if a commissioner absolutely hates something on a commission, that's probably the one time I don't care too much. Sometimes I try weird shit, and if it's not your jam and you're paying for it, fucking tell me. Be like, I like that you're trying out the extra shines on the eyes today, Scuts, but could you maybe not? And I'd be like, yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't work on the character or it doesn't work on the piece, and I don't know. I'm not really... It's hard to hurt my feelings when it comes to my art, because either I don't care because you're not a commissioner and the art wasn't for you, or if you're the commissioner, I do care, and we have, you know, a TOS. We have a TOS of, like, you know, if we get to, like, fixes points or whatever, but I don't usually have that issue. It's just, hey, can you fix this thing? And I'm like, yeah, and I fix it. And that's it. that's it. That's it. That's the way it goes. I'm the poor soul with, like, a small detail on their character, though, and where I'll get, like, a finished... I got a finished commission of Scuts back in the day, and she was missing, like, I don't know if it was, like, the heart on her cheek or something, and I was just like, can you please add this? And it's, like, this minor little tiny thing, but I still felt like such a jackass just asking for, like, something that was supposed to... It's not even a big deal, you know what I mean? I was just like, don't be mad at me. And I'm just... It's funny being on the other end of it and knowing that that anxiety is there, so I try to just, you know, I'm chill about it. Like, it's fine. If I forgot something, please tell me. And I think the number of times I've had to ask people, like, hey, just so you know, we're kind of getting to the point where we've reworked this a few times. I'm good to do, like, one or two more, you know, edits, or, like, one, you know, but we're getting to the point where if anything beyond that, I'm probably going to have to ask for, like, a couple more bucks. And either they're completely fine with that and it's worth that to them, or it's more than they were able to, or it's more than they're able to afford, etc. Like, they don't want to pay for the additional edits, so they know to be like, okay, so this is, you know, and it's not usually anything big. It was like, I had someone asking about changing the pose, and then it was like, we'd gone through a fairly significant pose change, and I was just kind of like, hey, just so you know, this is getting there. And so they're like, oh yeah, no worries, and made sure that, like, the next change was kind of, like, thought out and the sweeping collection of things, and so it was completely fine. I think I think I think that most reasonable people completely understand that and don't want to, but like it's hard to gauge when you're at a point of being within reason and when things are past that. So I think that just falls in the category of communication with your commissioner. If you're starting to feel frustrated, like you're spending too much time on something, or have it, like, just say something, be like, hey, beyond reasonable have been the majority of my commissioners, so. But like, if I ever forget, I don't know, just a base character design, something that should have been included and I forgot, like, that's always something I'll go back and fix, no problem. As I feel like you should do, especially if somebody has complicated designs, and if I've been like, hey, this is a complex design, gotta charge a little bit more, it's fine. But at that point, I also expect of myself that if I miss any of the complex design and they go, oh hey, you forgot this little part, that it's on me to go fix it, like, you know what I mean? Although, as long as I have the file, I pretty much, like, somebody can come back to me and be like, hey, I caught something, can you fix this? I'd be like, yeah. I want people to be happy with what they got from me. Like, obviously within reason, but I haven't had many people ask for unreasonable things. I think this is like the second Absol I've drawn. Alright, yep, I'm gonna erase the eyeballs. The pupils are just kind of getting in the way. Yep, because I just shaded the other one all fucking weird around it. Just bring that down like it's the... Alright. And then I go above the line art. Let's add some shinies. And then we'll see. What else do I need to do? I shaded the claws on the toes. We've shaded the eyeballs. This is one of the more complicated areas of a commission, I feel like, when it's sort of this almost done, but not quite. Like, it's hard to tell what pieces what pieces still need to be finished. And sometimes I'll just go through and basically do like a layer crawl almost from... Wait, what do I do here then? Let's erase this portion. Sorry, lost my train of thought because we're doing the eyebrow. Alright. Yeah, trying to figure out where we're at. I don't think it really matters too much. I just kind of find a new spot. Oh, the the one method I have for trying to find out what to do next is I literally go from one portion of the drawing, like I'll start at the top or I will start at the bottom, and then I just toggle on each layer. And I see which layer is completed, I'll move and toggle the next one, and as soon as I find a layer that has stuff on it to be worked on, I will go and start working on it. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I think it is. It's efficient. It seems dumb, but it works. And if it works, is it dumb? I don't think so. All right. I mean, it's a heart tattoo. As long as I don't charge for having curly hair, we're good. No, I charged extra for something like this because of all the metal and the spikes and the little thingies and stuff like that. So like, this got like one of the most complex armor. When this is finished, this is going to be up there on the like examples. So when somebody is like, how much would something that's heavily detailed and heavily armored cost? I'm gonna just gesture over this one, be like, hello. Ugh. Big stretch. Oh, all right. My bones, they pop. I feel like I want to have some kind of background for this going, but I don't know what. Let me see if they've responded. I asked. Oh, maybe. Red Rocky sounds good. Cool. Thinking something like an, let's see. Do. Trying to find something that would look cool. I think the reddish orange would be fun. I'm also not really sure what to search to get about this. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the background from a blue to something that's a bit more of a dusky red, just so that I have something in that vein. So let's go see if I have any gradients that will work. This one's a sunset gradient. What happens if I use this? Do Control U. Let's see about changing the... Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work for me. So I'm gonna actually keep it Keep that for the sky. And come in like this. I don't know why. I thought it would just be some kind of like fun background. I try to think of like stuff that has fun visual color contrast, because like I don't know where this character's at. I don't know what they're doing. But I also know that something like this could be pretty cool. And she's already on a rock, so I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. If it looks bad, I won't use it. Like, that's already pretty neat. Probably don't want it to look like it's too bright. Oh no. That's not quite... It's almost too bright. What if I put some... Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. I don't know what I'm doing. That's fine. I don't like that though. I'm just basically like putting some shades and some colors around different places and trying to see what looks good, what has kind of a good composition, what color palettes I want to use. Do I want to have any green in here? Advice for making backgrounds. Hey Juan, welcome in. No, I actually didn't finish. I had to set this one down for a minute. The main thing that's happened is I messed my wrist up at the beginning of the month. So I've barely done anything since then. It's lame, but starting to feel better and starting to get more stuff done, so we'll see. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to draw today. I don't think I want to do we're not doing cactuses and shit. I think that's too much. But right now I'm just trying to imagine like what kind of environment she might be in. I'm thinking the tone would be, I'd always say start off trying to figure out like what are you trying to capture for your background, and then try to find reference photos for that. They don't have to be exact, but like if you're looking for a mountain type or a type of tree, kind of pull those up and sort of collage them together a little bit. We can absolutely do a stream where I just cover how I go over backgrounds, and I can do a few different environments. If that's something you guys would enjoy, I would have fun with that. The joke is for people at home. An artist wanted to charge you another $20 because you had a character with curling iron hair, so the hair was just rolled at the bottom of the hairline. You might know her as Pencil Pusher. Okay, so like the little rarity curl. That's all. I mean, I guess, but you're also pricing goes both ways. There's a point where you can be like, yeah, that's okay. But I think that's why it's important to like negotiate those prices and stuff up front. Okay. Let's see. So I think what I'm gonna do is go in here with a negative. So one of the other things that, what background type are you talking about? Like indoors? Are you talking about exterior backgrounds and like doing backgrounds of nature? Because I feel like those both lend to slightly different qualities, I think. I know I charge more for indoor backgrounds than I do for outdoor ones. And then since the mountain's on its own layer, I'm just kind of coming in here, and we don't want stuff to be too sharp in the background, so I'm making sure it's kind of still blurry a little bit. Like, it's not crisp. You kind of want, I want it to look like it's beyond the focal range. Environmental stuff is always fun. Yeah. So there's a couple of things I've been actually thinking about doing for environmental stuff. One is just the fact that I've been trying to do more practices on it myself. The more practice I do, the better I get. So I can sort of take one of those study sessions, essentially, and we can all study together. I would not mind sharing what I'm doing. If I'm learning, I'm happy to bring you guys along with me, and you can learn along with me. It's the whole point, and it's all I want to do. You know, art is hard. Let's not make it harder. Mm-hmm. 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 Oops. All right. Mm-hmm. Where is the rock? Boop. All right. So I actually think I'm gonna have to erase part of her so that I am able to, I'm able to do this. Cause like this foot should be behind the rock, and this part of her cape should also be. So I think I'm just gonna have to do a little bit of that. And like for the rock, it's mostly gray. I'm doing some different shades of it, but I'm also just throwing in some of the tones, like just lightly from around it. So I have like bounced lighting essentially, and then I come over it with other shit. Like I'm just piling colors on top of it. Like it's as chaotic as it looks, but there's a method to the madness. Like, I don't know how, like, you just can't think about it too hard, especially if you're doing nature stuff and like trees. Because nature is not perfect. Nature is random. Nature is like rough edges and things aren't even. And so it's almost like the more I zone out and the less I actively try. Like, you don't want to, I want to be passively trying. I still want to be trying to make it look like a rock, but the less I'm like actively focusing on this has to look like a rock, this has to be perfect, the more I kind of zone out into the highlights and the shadows, and I can kind of see what looks good, and I just kind of keep what does, and I keep moving when something doesn't. It's weird, but it's taken me about 2 years of fairly consistent painting practice. When I say fairly consistent, I mean that the main way I improved was by doing like a 1 hour speed paint. So I would sketch something and kind of have the rough sketch, and then I would give myself an hour to paint it. And it actually worked really well. I would give myself a music playlist, so when it hit different songs, I knew that I was halfway through, and then I knew I had about 15 minutes left, so I should tighten up some details in the face and things like that. And then I had one that would go at like 5 minutes, so I knew I needed to run around and do any final things. And then the last song that came on, I knew was the last song, and when it was over, that was it, pencils down. And that really helped me because I didn't have to devote any of my mental energy to how much time I had left. It became kind of second nature by tuning it with the, like, associating it with the music, which I thought was really cool. So I have basically 2 different playlists that function the exact same way, and it's just so I don't get bored of the music. But it's that way I don't get hung up trying to perfect stuff. Because that's one of my biggest flaws, and one of the things that I get like hung up on the most is I try to make stuff look too perfect, or I try too hard. And when it's stuff like trees and rocks, like, they have a rhythm to them, they have a pattern, but it's nature. It's not perfect unless somebody came through and manicured the thing. I mean, even if somebody manicured it into a freaking elephant, the leaves still are semi-random within it. Like, if you put a solid texture, it's gonna look weird, but ooh, yeah. We're doing a painting stream. We'll do an environmental painting stream. I'll tell you all the things. I don't know if we'll do it next week or not, but we'll see. Because painting is one of the lighter things on my wrist right now, so it's not a bad idea. It's one of the reasons why I'm like, you know what, let's paint the background on this one right now, because my wrist is starting to feel it from some of the smaller details I was doing in the eye there. So this is me swinging the other way to compensate by going out and about to the looser background bits here. What happens if I put this to overlay? Ooh, fuck. I like that. What if I just snag the color palette from this and paint with that? Let's do it. Da 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 da. Okay. Just gonna keep this one. Let's go back to normal, and then can I change the hue? No. Really? Alright. Let's see what I can do. So another thing I like to do, I use in the Clip Studio asset store, it's called Thick Paint, and there's different ones, but the reason I like this one is the rough edges. So when you have really crisp edges, like if I was trying to do this with, I guess the line tool's a really extreme example, but like it creates where you can see edges and stuff, and in the background, like right now, even if I was doing it like this, like we don't necessarily want that. You can, if you want a style where your background's in focus, you can, but when I'm doing painterly stuff and you're trying to capture an environment, leaving stuff with kind of a rougher edge gives it kind of that focal blur that you'd get for something in a distance. Like, there's also blue shift, so things that are further in the back are gonna have almost more of a blue tone to them than some of the things in the front. And so that's gonna make anything that's further in the back actually appear further in the back. I think, did I do it on? Here's another environmental one I did. I need to finish painting this. We might be able to do that one of these times. Maybe not. I don't know where it's at. But there was a really really intense background I started on something. Is it something I opened recently? Yes, it was. Oh, it's in my D&D folder. Because it's from our D&D group. The background on this one is actually kind of close to what I want for this. Where I wanted something where it's kind of that reddish brown and the green tones. I wonder if I could snag the trees from this one and borrow them. Alright, I need to use the restroom. I will be right back, and then we'll see how much further I can get going on this today. So give me just a moment, and I'll be right. Alright, so ooh, what am I tangled in? What? Oh, I've wrapped myself. Hold on. I'm tangled in the cords. I'm like a puppo. Gotta undo it. Hang on. Alright, the good news is that reminded me I do have a heat pad for my back. Yeah! Okay, so let's do what we got here. Do I want to grab anything from that? I don't think so. That one was a lot less saturated than this one. So maybe I'll bring the saturation down just a bit. So I have basically the furthest backdrop, and I have something real close here with the rock. And I'm kind of missing something more in the middle that kind of separates the foreground and the background. So we'll see. I don't know what I want this to be. When I go about painting, I feel very like very Bob Rossy about it. I just like, especially because this is digital and I don't have to worry. There's a lot of room for me to like play around and experiment, and if I don't like something, I can always go and try something different. I can draw over it. I did this on its own layer, so it doesn't mess up anything I've got going that I like so far. And I think it's good. Like, there's a lot you can learn in different mediums, and I think it's really fun. I like traditional for a different reason than I like doing digital work, and there's a reason why I still really like doing them both. So for now, the main way, I feel like I'm just gonna clean up and separate the background and this sort of like midsection here is I'm gonna keep these lines just a bit crisper. Because like I said, these ones we want really blurry, so they're like further back and more in the backdrop and in the background. Oops, that's I'm on the wrong layer. And honestly, your brain does so much work. Where like you can imply a lot and the brain will fill it in. To the point where the more you leave stuff abstract, the more your brain's going to like, oh, sure, this must be a rock. Oh, this must be, you know. It's really interesting. Ooh, can I find the example? It's a Magic the Gathering card, but the card art for it, I was staring at it during a game at my friend's, and it just had, like, I just had that revelation moment where I was like, haha, oh my gosh. The only thing that was fully, is it Izami? I don't know. I can't spell anything. Magic. Spell Magic the Gathering. But essentially the image in the center of the playmat. Azami, Lady of Scrolls. Is it this one? No, it was an alternate art. Alright. I'll have to find it, especially if we're talking about the digital painting in the stream. It's essentially like the further away you get, the less detailed things are. Oh, is this it? No, it's not that one. If I just type in alternate art, does it come up? This is really bugging me. The playmat is so pretty. I could just be misremembering. Alright. Well. Either way, I will get to the bottom of it or find other examples that kind of suit the example I'm trying to say, but essentially, the further back you are, the more out of focus stuff is, and the less you really have to worry about it being super crispy and detailed, because as humans, our brains we're trying to look at so many things at one time that it kind of runs on making like a lot of assumptions. So rather than processing everything fully, it goes, okay, this is that, this is that. And so that's kind of what happens when you look at a picture and you don't really see something until you look at it a little bit longer, or you like look, it's really fun. Aw, I kind of miss Animal Crossing. I played it for a little bit. It was like my unwind game, but I never really got to play with other people. And then I found out friends who were into it like too late. It got really repetitive, and when games get really repetitive, it gets really hard for me to justify playing them. So when it was cool, because I hadn't played it before, it was like all a new experience, and that was really fun. It was just like, oh, my favorite part was making outfits. Oh, the little pixelated outfits? Yeah, now I understand where all the pixel artists on Gaia Online came from. I'm like, oh. Deathlight says, Oh, you told them no because you thought it would be fine because they drew a lot of Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and other characters with similar hair. Yeah, if they already drew Rarity, or that's why I was like, oh, cool, I already know that, that's fine. Like, I suppose if... But that makes me wonder what qualifies as a complicated hairstyle. I don't know. Artists are welcome to set their price, and customers are welcome to walk away. It is a system of negotiation. But that might have been what it was worth to them to draw that. Like, maybe that really is that big of a pain in the ass to them that it's worth 20 bucks. There are a few things where I'm like, that is not really my favorite thing to draw, but if you pay me enough, then yeah, I'll do it. You pay me enough to care. That's basically, I don't care enough about a topic, I won't draw it. Or a thing, or whatever. Like, if I don't think that I can do it justice, then I won't accept it. What are we doing here, though? I'm gonna keep adding some more of these light rocks. I think that looks really cool. So this is where I'm just kind of like adding, like, I don't know. I'm gonna see. I think I added too much and I don't like it anymore. I liked it when it was just a couple. Da 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 da. Alright, my hand is definitely starting to get there. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing with this boulder, with this rock. I just want it to be like really rough shaped and like kind of irregular. So I'm just adding weird little shapes, and as long as it looks okay, then I'm gonna keep it and keep moving on. I don't really know what to do other than, like, it's just a constant process of trial and error. And then what happens is eventually you just get better at guessing. I think that's the best way I would sum up. It's the best way I would sum this up. You just get better at guessing. All right. Let's see if this still works with the other character. I forgot to check that before I went that hard. That's fine. It's my bad. Yeah, she's still warm enough. She sticks out. Oh yeah, that still works. This is still... I like both of these a lot. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and I think drop the color palette from the background. I'll grab that again if I need it later. And then I'm gonna drop Charm's color palette from there, so we can just kind of look at stuff how it is. I feel like the background on this changes how I might handle some of the lighting situation too, but that's kind of where I stopped. Where I stopped at was so that I knew I could work on the background and come back around, so there's a point where I'm like, I want to make sure that my highlights and everything are blending into the environment and not having stuff stick out. So like, I know I want to have warmer tones probably for my highlights since we're going with this background. I'm gonna go ahead and check this in with the commissioner. I'm just gonna send a screenshot here. so that way I can make sure that they like the background before I do. I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh, no, 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 no. Why'd you send it 4 times? That's horrible. Send it 1 time. Send it 1 time. My keyboard glitched. That's bad. That's too many. Alright, and then we'll go back to that one. Drop that one, bring that back. And drop that too. Alright, I'm gonna save it real quick. I'm gonna take another screenshot. So I'm basically checking in that they like the background before I continue to finish shading, because that's what's going to save me the most rework. If they don't like the background, then I can still rework it. It's a cool background. I could probably even utilize it for another piece. But if I'm gonna add anything to it or go any further, I'm gonna touch base now. So whatever time I spend on it, isn't essentially going backwards or going sideways. I'm pretty sure they're going to be happy with it though, so it should be alright. Why is she a lioness now? Actually, it's a hyena. And it's because there are 2 different edits. One is a Pokemon Absol edit, and one is their hyena characters. So I essentially have the armor on its own base, and the 2 of them have their pieces that go over it. Edits are funky. I had to really think about how I wanted to do this one. Like I said earlier in the stream, when I first started doing digital art, I did not really wrap my head around how to layer stuff or how to do stuff. And then there's actually 2 different layers over here. One is, one's the hyena color base, and then the other is the Absol color base. So I just have to toggle those based on which one I'm working on. Alright. I think, unfortunately, this is about where I'm gonna have to call it for today. I would like to keep going, but I really don't want to tax my wrist. I feel like it held up pretty well to doing some light background work and some shading. I've been trying to do a lot of sketches and a lot of the ref sheet I'm working on has a lot of line work and like hard lines that I'm working on. So those are really rough on my thumb and are really hurting me. But this one gives me hope that we might just have to push towards painting, which I'm sure everyone's gonna complain about. So I say that sarcastically in case that wasn't clear. If I go tell my Patreons like, hey, sorry, I'm gonna have to paint those ode busts instead of sketch them, I think the amount of people who be like balking about that is very slim. Especially if it's what's helping my hand. So I am so glad to have such an amazing community, and you know, we'll just keep doing what I can do. I'm doing some left-handed sketches on Twitch here and there, so if you want to get some cheap funky art from me, maybe try catching one of those, because yeah, or we could do one next Wednesday. My wrist is gonna need a minute. Would you guys want to do a sketch stream on here? I would have to set something up to figure out how I'm getting references and things, but I'm trying to get a dishwasher. I need about $100 more. So the goal is to get a mini countertop dishwasher so my hands don't have to scrub the dishes and I can draw instead, and it'll be amazing. So if you want to support that, yeah, reach out and let me know. Everybody, otherwise, take care. I'll be back next week. I think we'll do same thing. I'll work as long as my wrist can do it, and we'll do this till things get better. So, take care. I'm repeating myself because I'm trying to do other things, and you're all awesome. Bye.